What's going on YouTube and Instagram? Listen, I messed up again. I already recorded this video and even have it put up, but I'm going to have to do it all over again because when Stephen A speaks, it was a nasty echo. A terrible echo, and I didn't like it, so I'm going to actually take that video down and put this one up, and hopefully this video just be as good as the last one, because the last one was pretty darn good. If you ask me, I think we did well. So without any further ado, we're going to listen to what why Stephen A Smith believes that LeBron James has left social media. Take it away, Stephen A.
Let me get to the bigger point about LeBron James. LeBron James choosing to step off of social media. And I was hesitant to bring this up because I didn't want to. Because LeBron James is approaching age 40. He is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, one of the top 2 players in NBA history.
Top 2? Quite possibly. I believe maybe top 3. Well, I can only really put one player over LeBron James, and that's MJ. I don't know if I can put anybody else over LeBron James that I've seen. You know, I'm a little bit too young to have seen Dr. J in his prime. Dr. J was an older guy by the time I started watching him and understanding basketball. And I believe pretty much retired. Like, it was over by the time I was seeing Dr. J. But I know when I was young, they used to argue who could play better between MJ and Dr. J. But LeBron is, pretty damn good compared to anybody else that I've ever seen. He's probably the second best player I've seen next to MJ. So Stephen A, I guess you're right about this. LeBron James is probably top 2 all time, but that's not what this video is about. Take it away, guys.
And we will miss him when he is gone. He's a special, special dude on all fronts. But none of us are perfect. And LeBron James electing to get off of social media, is that because of you, LeBron James? Or is it because of your son, Bronny James, and his struggles in the D-League and the NBA prior to that, college basketball, prior to that, high school basketball when he was an All-American averaging 14 points a game, and people said no All-American averages 14 points a game? It's probably the latter.
Now, let me say something about this. They said no All-American averages 14 points a game, but he played every year with other All-Americans. So, that's the scoring on that team was probably pretty balanced, I would imagine. So I'm not going to really pay too much attention with it because a lot of All-Americans don't get to play with as much talent as Bronny has played with over the years. There's guys that Bronny has played with that are in the NBA playing right now. Bronny was teammates with him in high school, and some of those guys are getting pretty good minutes right now as young players in the NBA. So him averaging 14 a game in high school, I'm not really, it's a guy on my favorite basketball team, the Michigan Wolverines, that was Bronny James' teammate in high school. So he's playing with all kinds of talent. So him averaging 14 a game in high school, where he's got other college and other pro players playing with him, is, just something different. That's just something for them to hate on. Go ahead, Stephen A.
Greg Anthony alluded to this earlier, and that's why I asked him the question. When you think about LeBron James and what LeBron James had to say, Greg Anthony made a very valid point. The level of vitriol that LeBron James has experienced throughout his career, he's one of the most scrutinized superstars in history. It's not because he's LeBron James. It's because when he came along is when social media shortly followed. Imagine what scrutiny Charles Barkley and MJ and Isaiah and others would have received had there been the existence of social media, had there been Instagram and X, or formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook and TikTok and all of this other stuff. Imagine what it would have been if they played during that time.
Well, yeah, but to go at that point, a lot of those guys played in the newspaper era. And what they would do is they would just stop reading the newspaper. But that's the equivalent of what LeBron is doing right now. Whenever those guys got scrutiny or whatever, they just didn't read the paper no more or didn't watch the news for a little while until they got out of their slumps or until they were traded or until, they were comfortable watching the news again or reading the newspaper again. So it's probably not the same because social media is huge now, but in a way it is. That's the equivalent of him leaving social media is the equivalent of him not reading the newspaper. And that's why, but I could imagine those guys, during the social media era, they would probably choose to do the same thing because that's what LeBron is doing. But go ahead, Stephen A.
So we understand that LeBron James has received a heightened level of scrutiny, but we also understand that he's fully capable of taking and absorbing it and stomaching it. So why step away now? Truthfully speaking, it only makes sense that it's Bronny James. Not to be redundant, but it's necessary to be that way. Bronny James doesn't belong in the NBA.
Whoa.
Not yet. Some people say.
From the way it's looking right now, Bronny is struggling in both the NBA and the G League. He's struggling with turnovers. He's struggling with his shooting. He shoots a very low percentage, but he's getting shots. So maybe with some repetition, some of those shots will start to fall after a while because he is taking 10, 12 shots. He's only making 2 or 3 in the G League, but he is taking shots and he's getting shots. But he just needs some repetition. He needs to play. So I don't believe that the G League is the worst thing for him. I think he should probably spend a little bit more time there than they're trying to give him, just for him to get the repetition. Because I still think that he has a chance because he's very athletic and he works hard to be an NBA player and to be a serviceable NBA player. Because technically he's an NBA player now. Go ahead, Stephen A.
Who say never? I don't believe that. I believe the kid has a chance, and
I
I
do
think
too.
that he's going to do. I believe in him. I believe in his work ethic, his faith, etc., etc. But he's not ready yet. Which brings this back to LeBron James. We don't have to scrutinize Bronny James in terms of points per game average and all of this other stuff. Please, he's a kid. He'll come along. He'll work on his game. Hopefully, he'll earn his stripes. Respectfully, this is all LeBron's fault. It was LeBron James that told the world, sitting next to his wonderful wife, Savannah, for an interview, asked the question, what does he want for Bronny? What do they want for Bronny? She said, I just want him to be happy. LeBron James said, I want to play with him in the NBA. I want him in the NBA. And then, because...
But at one point, he did kind of say that he wanted to play with him, but that wasn't necessarily what Bronny wanted, and that he was okay with that. He did say that too. But I don't know, maybe Bronny changed his mind and, he got him into the league. But he did say, well, Bronny pretty much is still working. So I think that maybe his dad get him into the league might be harsh, but damn, it looks like it's the truth, don't it? I mean, it looks like it's true. And right now the young man is struggling, and I for one are pulling on him to push through, because I am not a LeBron James hater. Even though I was mad at him in 2007 for what he did to my Detroit Pistons, but I am not at all a LeBron James hater, and hopefully, all this will come to pass. Because Bronny, you got a 4-year contract. So pretty soon it's gonna be some times where you're paying through that contract where your dad ain't gonna be there. So it's on you to do what you need to do and keep working and keep that attitude, keep that positive attitude, because you seem like a pretty positive kid. And you have a hell of a work ethic, as everybody says. Nobody's doubting how hard you work it, but you got to keep at it so you can get better. Because that 4-year contract, if you don't get any better, it's all you will have in the NBA. But right now, I think the G League is good for you, just so you can get reps, because you're not really going to break that rotation. And the Lakers, not right now. I'm pulling for you, though. Go ahead, Steven.
Because he's LeBron James, he greased the skids and facilitated it happening, ensuring through Rich Paul that nobody would draft Bronny James before the Lakers grabbed him, because there were teams tempted to do it just to keep him away from the Lakers and LeBron. Most importantly, LeBron James was caught saying publicly that Bronny James was better than some players in the NBA.
He said he was probably better than half the people on the Lakers. He said that last year. And a lot of teams did consider drafting Bronny. And also because maybe they figured they would have a shot at LeBron. LeBron James is so good, even at age 40, that he could turn an average team or a lower bottom team into a playoff team just pretty much with him. That's how good LeBron James still is at 40. So a lot of teams would have drafted Bronny just to have a shot at having LeBron. A few teams had that idea.
Did you think people were going to forget that? See, I'm not getting into Bronny James because none of this is Bronny James' fault. He's just a kid out there working hard, trying to be the best that he can be, who is very blessed and fortunate to have a father like LeBron James, who loves him and had no ill intent whatsoever. But just because you didn't have ill intent doesn't mean that your intent didn't end up being ill-fated, because you put this kid behind an 8-ball and now he's a target for everybody. And whatever level of scrutiny he's experiencing and whatever difficulty.
That's a hard reality right there. And I know LeBron is doing what he can to work his way through it, but we love our children and we want them to do the best that they can do, and we want them to be as successful as they can. But sometimes we might push them into the fire a little bit too early, which is probably what happened here. That's how it's looking right now. But things can change. I'm praying that they change for this young man, because I like him. I like how funny his little brother is. His little brother was messing with Drewski and Kai the other day, and Kevin Hart. It looked like that was a hilarious skit. I'll probably end up doing that video too, probably a little bit later. It's the holiday. It's Thanksgiving today. You guys will probably see this video Friday. But maybe I'll do that video too. But I enjoy the James family dynamic. So this is pretty much why I'm rooting on Bronny. Go ahead.
difficulty he's having and stomaching and dealing with all of it is because his father couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Damn.
His father couldn't just play and say, I want my son happy no matter what he wants to do. It would be a dream come true to play in the NBA.
He did at one point say that, though. I mean, to be fair, damn, because his father couldn't keep his mouth shut. As harsh as this has to be to hear, Stephen A is kind of telling the truth. By the way it looks right now. He's using some harsh words, but damn, it's true. And I don't even agree with most of it. I think Stephen A is he can be a prick sometimes, for lack of better words. So, but he's honest. No, he's not really telling lies right here. So I think on this, I kind of do agree with Stephen A. Damn, I never thought I'd say that.
NBA with them, but we can't have everything we want. Hopefully someday it happened and just left it alone. You didn't do that. And as a result, in all likelihood, Bronny James is experiencing an elevated level of scrutiny that would be difficult for anybody his age, with his experience, and with his unfamiliarity in being associated with this kind of critique. It's been difficult for him. That doesn't make LeBron James the worst person in the world. He's a damn good father.
It doesn't. Like you said, sometimes we want so much for our children, and we want them to be as successful as they're gonna be. And, sometimes we might push them in the wrong direction. But he's athletic and he works hard. And a lot of people go to the NBA a lot of times because they're very athletic, and they turn into better basketball players because of their athleticism. I think that'll probably happen with Bronny because how hard he works. And again, it doesn't really make LeBron a bad parent. I don't think he is at all either. I think he sees that his son, it has some athleticism, and he wants to help his son probably fulfill his son's dreams. And he also wanted to play with his son. I can imagine having that feeling and how they felt when they were on the court together for them 3 minutes in a regular season game where LeBron actually gave him the ball. He took a shot. It would have been great if he would have made the shot. That would have been a hell of a story because I jumped up when he handed him the ball and the ball went up in the air. But it just didn't go in. But, finish your thoughts.
He's a family man. He's an iconic figure that we all should revere, not just respect. But in the same breath, rather than say, I'm stepping off of social media because of the negativity, how about adding, especially some of the negativity I unintentionally brought on my own son? I need to take a step back. I'm not saying you should have done it automatically, but since you felt the need to do what you did in terms of retweeting Rich Kleiman's tweet and stepping away from social media, and since you refrained from just stepping away quietly and basically piggybacked off of Rich Kleiman to blame the national media, could you blame yourself?
Yeah, see, he did not have to come out. This is the one thing I do say he probably did wrong. You don't have to announce that you're leaving social media because you're LeBron James. Everybody knows you. You are the second best basketball player of all time. You could have just stopped and people would have noticed. LeBron ain't tweeting no more. LeBron ain't on Facebook. LeBron ain't on Instagram. He ain't dancing with his family on TikTok no more. People would have noticed it. And they would have wondered why. Just like you came, it would have been the same effect. People would have been guessing why. Just like they're guessing why you announced that you wasn't on there. So it wasn't really no need for you to announce. You could have just did it. He's right there, and blaming yourself. I can't really blame a man for really pushing his son to be the best he can be. Um, I can't, especially when you raise your kids and you see them. I can't really blame him for it. Problem is that right now it's not working out the way you guys probably thought it would, and it's rough. It's
Because in the end, nobody is more guilty of making times hard for Bronny James, the basketball player, than LeBron James. That's just a fact. There's no way around it. Still rooting for you, Bronny. Keep working hard, keep making things happen. You got a chance no matter what the critics say.
and I believe that too. I really do. I believe that he can work hard and become a serviceable NBA player, and I am rooting for him to become a serviceable NBA player. But right now, it's a struggle. I mean, it's a real struggle. Even in the G League is a struggle, but I think that's where he needs to be because he needs reps. He needs to be able to play. He needs that professional playing time. He needs to be fouled by a grown man, by a professional. He needs to be D'd up by a professional. He needs to be dogged by a professional, by a hungry professional. He actually needs that. It's the world is kind of rough, and the NBA ain't no different. These are people competing for jobs, and he needs this. And hopefully, in a year or two, he'll be all right. Cause pretty soon, Pops will be gone. So it's on you, Bronny. It's on you to make your career make your career, blossom into whatever you really want it to be. And I think you can do it. This is your boy, the Sports Dr. Spock, Mickey Coleman. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you guys have an awesome Thanksgiving with your family. I know I will with mine. Take care. We'll see you Sunday on the Mick and Mike Love podcast.